What's up, everybody? It's me, Crazy Frankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 14 4 key game picks. I want to apologize for last week. I didn't get a chance to do a Week 13 key game picks video. Just a lot of things got messed up for me last week. I mean, my sleeping patterns were thrown off. I didn't really get adequate sleep. Plus, it was Thanksgiving week, and I wanted to get some things done, and I had a lot of things going on, and I plumb forgot to do a video, and I didn't get a chance to record a video and make it and post it up on YouTube. So sorry about that from last week. And but I did post up a regular blog post for my blog for blogspot.com regarding my entire Week 13 picks, and I went 11-5 on those picks, so I'm actually did very well last week. Probably the best week I've had in about 3 weeks. Um, anyways, let's see thoughts from Week 13. Well, what can I say? Seahawks just dismantled the Saints. Uh, I think it's kind of safe to say now that, yeah, if you're in the NFC conference right now, the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Seattle. The way things are going right now, Seattle's 11-1. The Saints now are 9-3. Pretty much, the Saints may have eliminated themselves from home field advantage. Even if, say, the Seahawks were to split the remaining games, the remaining 4 games left, I just don't see them. I just don't see them giving up home field. I mean, Seattle's schedule favors them more than probably a lot of other teams in the NFC conference. The Broncos beat the Chiefs twice. Pretty much, the Broncos have wrapped up the AFC West right there. Even if, say, they hold tiebreakers and all, but there's no way Denver's giving up the division. And number two, I think to me they're getting home field advantage. I think they need it. I think they need the home field right now because I think for them, I mean, they're more dominant at home than they are on the road, and they need that home field because in case if somehow they were to play the Patriots in the conference championship, it's more than likely going to be that way. The way it's looking in the AFC, the AFC right now looks more clear the playoff picture than it does in the NFC. If you look at the current 1 through 6 seeds right now, AFC, it's the Broncos at number 1, the Patriots number 2, the Colts number 3, the Bengals number 4, the Chiefs number 5, and then currently right now the Ravens hold the 6th seed at the moment right now, but that's all going to jumble up and down in the next 4 weeks. We don't know who's going to get that last playoff spot, but it's safe to say the Chiefs are in the playoffs. Their record speaks for itself. I think to me they're pretty much in. I mean, there's only been one team right now that has clinched a playoff berth, and that's the Seattle Seahawks at 11-1. They are the first team in the NFL that has clinched a playoff berth. And like I said, I mean, we're going to see what's going to happen down the road to see who will be getting playoff berths and who will be ending up winning in the divisions. I mean, the way I'm looking at it right now, teams like the Indianapolis Colts pretty much are going to wrap up the division. I think to me, they pretty much won the AFC South. Same thing with the Patriots. They pretty much won the AFC East. Clinchers, there might be some clinchers this week, so keeping that in mind as we go through the rest of the playoff picture right now. In the NFC conference, Seahawks are number 1. They've already clinched the playoff berth. Pretty much they wrap up the NFC West, regardless what happens. I don't think even though the 49ers are on fire lately, they currently hold the last playoff spot, and I'll get to that right now. Of course, the Saints are the 2 seed. The Lions at the moment are the 3 seed, and the Cowboys are the 4th seed. The Panthers are the 5th seed right now, and the 49ers right now are the 6th seed. The NFC picture looks a little bit more tougher, in my honest opinion, the way the records are. And it's going to be tough to say what goes down the stretch. I mean, who's going to get that last playoff spot? But it's kind of hard to say at the moment right now until we know. Until we know. So it's really tough for me to see how this is going to play out. I probably won't talk about this more until week 17. But anyways, as we inch closer and closer to the playoff picture, it gets more difficult for me because I'm going to leave out some games that I consider key games that I wish I would talk about. But here are my 4 key game picks for week number 14 here. The first key game I'm going to talk about will be the Lions at the Eagles. Now, the Lions coming off an enormous win over the Packers on Thanksgiving Day last week as they beat them 40 to 10. This is a tough game for them. They're going into Philadelphia here. Philadelphia they've been playing on a roll. They're on a winning streak right now at the moment, and Nick Foles has not turned the ball over in his last 4 games. So it's going to be interesting to say how this Lion team will match up with this Eagles team, because the major flaw right now for the Detroit Lions right now is really the turnovers. I mean, they're fumbling the ball. Matthew Stafford has thrown picks. If you're the Lions right now, you got to be pretty nervous right now. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, this is a team right now that you don't know what to expect out of this team. I mean, right now the Lions hold a slight edge in the NFC North division over the Bears and the Packers. But, you're playing non-divisional opponents here. You got to wonder, especially if you're on the road, you got to wonder outside of the dome, which Detroit Lions team's going to show up. For the Eagles right now, they're on a roll. If this is a game where they need to continue making a statement here, this is it right here. You beat the Detroit Lions here, you will have some sort of an advantage if they were to catch the Cowboys for the NFC East division, because with that win they could probably move up to the 3rd seed if, say, they were to catch the Cowboys and take over first place. But if going into this game right now, I mean, the way the Eagles are playing right now, I kind of like their chances a little bit here. I mean, I know on paper probably the Lions maybe are a slight favorite in this one, but for this game here, the way the Lions are playing, the turnovers, I mean, you got to question that a little bit, and the health on some of their players right now. Calvin Johnson's health still a bit of a concern. And what about their defense? You got to wonder. I mean, like I said, it's all coming down to turnovers here. Can the Lions hold the ball? And the way I'm looking at this game, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles here. I like the Eagles in this game. They're playing spectacular football. Even though last week's game against the Cardinals, that was a bit of a tough game for them, and the game was close. But for this one here, I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Detroit Lions here. I'm going to go with the Eagles here over Detroit. Key game number 2. The Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Well, it's more about the 49ers than I would say more than the Seahawks here. Seahawks pretty much are going to wrap up the division, but obviously home field, they want to secure home field advantage, which they could if they do beat the 49ers in this game. Pretty much they will wrap up home field advantage, even though, let's just say, if their last remaining 3 games they were to lose them and the Saints somehow win their next 3, the Seahawks pretty much will still own the tiebreaker for home field advantage. But like I said, let's see what happens here. I mean, Seattle, I still question them on the road, even though from what the football analysts are saying, that probably more than likely Seattle's going to beat them again. But like I said, I don't know how they are on the road. Sometimes I question them on the road. I've seen a lot of their road games here. You got to wonder how they do on the road. And even though I still think they're going to get home field here. But anyways, going into this game here right here, if the 49ers need to make a statement here, this is the game to do it. I know they got embarrassed in the first meeting up in Seattle, but that was in Seattle. The 49ers are a little bit better at home, even though they did lose 2 home games. But I'm going to say the 49ers are going to win here, only because they need to make a bigger statement than their record shows right now. And especially right now, they're trying to cling on to the 6th and final playoff spot. And this is where, like I said, the 49ers got to make a statement here. And I think they're going to make a statement here against Seattle. Seattle, you got to wonder, let's see how their defense fares out. And Seattle's had a record of playing terribly at San Francisco. I mean, last year they didn't fare too well against them in Frisco. Frisco ended up winning that game. And let's just see what happens this time here. I think it'll be a close game, because Seattle wants to wrap up home field for this one here, and I think they will clinch it if they do beat the 49ers. But I'm going to say the 49ers win this game here. It'll be a close game, but I like the 49ers in this one. I know Seattle's defense is a tad better, but I think if they get the running game going and Kaepernick does not throw any interceptions here, I like the 49ers in this one. I like the 49ers at home here. 49ers over the Seahawks. Key game number 3, Colts at the Bengals. Both teams currently, I think, are 8-4. Yeah, they're 8-4 right now at the moment. Both teams have not wrapped up their respective divisions here. And obviously, playoff seeding is on the line here because right now the Colts are the 3rd seed and the Bengals are the 4th seed right now. So obviously, whoever wins this game will be the 3rd seed and the other will be the 4th seed. Now, Indianapolis, this is a team right now. You got to wonder what's going on with them. I just don't know what's up with this team here. At one moment they were dominating in the first half of the season, and then somehow they just started to fall apart lately. They're obviously not being consistent with the football here. They're turning the ball over. They're not getting any running game going. And Andrew Luck, you got to wonder about his passing and his decision making. It's really tough to say with this Indianapolis Colts team here, especially when they play on the road. They're not really a great road team, even though they do fare better at home. But this game is in Cincinnati here, and for the Bengals, after coming off a statement win over the Chargers last week, and this is a game that I think the Bengals need a lot more just to move up in seeding here. And Cincinnati does fare better at home. And it's tough to say. I mean, this is going to be a very close game. I don't think Indianapolis is gonna lay down in this one here. I kind of see them playing a tight game against the Bengals. The Bengals, they're another team too, almost like the coach. You got to wonder about them sometimes. But I'm going to go on a limb here because this is a toss-up here. I'm going to say the Bengals win this game here. I like their running game. Andy Dalton, so far in his last few games, is playing flawlessly. And you don't know what the Colts. You don't really know what the Colts here. I mean, the way they're playing on the road, it's tough. It's tough to say with this team here. But I'm gonna say the Bengals beat the Colts here. I like the Bengals at home here. It'll be a very, very tight game, no question about it. I don't see this game anyhow being a blowout here. It's gonna be a very, very close game. But I'm gonna say the Bengals edge out a victory over the Colts because I do think the Bengals are just a tad better on offense than they are with the Colts is. But I'm going to say the Bengals beat the Colts here. And key game number 4, of course, Panthers at the Saints. Both teams 9-3. The winner of this game will be one game up on the NFC South division. Who would have thunk that going into the schedule at this point and the way the Carolina Panthers are playing right now, that they would be on fire and fighting for that division, and it looked like the Saints were going to run away with that NFC South division. Now, the Saints coming off a terrible loss last week against the Seahawks. There's no question they are a home team. They got to play at home. And for the Panthers defense here, this is where they need to make their statement here. This is a big toss-up here. This game could go either way. Both teams are evenly matched. I mean, the Panthers defense against the Saints offense here. Now, like I said, they got to get to Drew Brees here. If the Panthers are going to win this game, they got to get to Drew Brees here. But the way the Saints play at home, I cannot go against them here. I mean, this game is in New Orleans here. They get the first shot at home here, and remember, in about 2 weeks after this one, they're gonna play each other again, but this time in Charlotte. This game is in Charlotte. And let's see how the Saints fare in that game. But for the first matchup here, I say the Saints barely edge out a victory over the Panthers because that Panthers defense looks scary. The way they're playing right now, they just flat out just stopping opponents here. Even though they did struggle against Miami a few weeks ago, and they had a dominating win last week against the Buccaneers. For the Panthers here, let's see how well they do against the Saints offense in New Orleans here. But I'm gonna put my money on. But I don't forget what I said there. I don't condone betting here. As I always say, please do not use my picks for betting purposes. I'm gonna go and say that the Saints win this game. I still think this is where the Saints come out of their slump here, come out of their offensive slump. I mean, I like them at home here. I'm not going to go against them at home here. No question it'll be a tight game, but I like New Orleans here. New Orleans, I think, probably more likely would win by a field goal. So it'll be the Saints over the Panthers in a very, very tight game. This game is a huge toss-up. I'm going to say the Saints over the Panthers. Like I said, I apologize I didn't put a video up last week's, but I'm able to have the time to do one this week here. And that is it for my video for week number 14. CrazyFrankie56.blogspot.com for all of my week 14 picks. And I will see you all next week for week 15 as we're getting inches closer to the playoffs. Wow, I can't believe this season is almost over. So for now, everybody, take care, and I'll see you all next week.